This week on the show, we interview legendary cannabis activist, entertainer, and all-around awesome guy, Tommy Chong. We complain about the media. Wait, aren't we part of the media? Why are we doing that? Oh well. And we share our favorite and least favorite things of the week. My name's Tim Strombel. Welcome to Rooted. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thanks for tuning in wherever you are, and don't forget to check out our social accounts at Stay Rooted across the board. So simple, so easy, you can't miss us. And if you have feedback on the show, do us a favor, take out a piece of paper, write your complaint out by hand like people used to. Fold it up, throw it in an envelope, and mail it out to Root'dTV. Oh, you don't know the address? Well, then do us a favor, just cut out the middleman and throw your letter in the trash. Because that's what we do when we get feedback anyways. We really don't care if we don't read it. We just kind of do our own thing. Okay, save your time. Okay, so we have a very special show for you this week as we recently had a chance to visit with entertainment legend, cannabis industry legend, and the overall awesome dude that is Tommy Chong, out at his beautiful house in Los Angeles. Tommy was awesome, by the way. Tommy's probably best known for being half of the iconic Cheech and Chong duo that revolutionized cannabis culture back in the 70s and 80s, but his body of work includes a ton of other projects. Just Wikipedia Tommy Chong and you'll find it. And his impact on the industry is still being felt to this day. We sat down with Tommy and asked him questions about his life, his industry brand Chong's Choice, and a ton more thanks to our awesome friends over at GreenBroz, home of the world's premier harvesting solutions for the cannabis space. Thank you to them and their team for making this interview possible for us, and thank you for the guys over at CCTV who also helped make this interview possible for us. Take a look at our interview with Tommy Chong. First of all, thanks for having us. Your place is beautiful. You don't know this about me, but my dad grew up in the cannabis scene in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. And so even me just sitting here with you would make him proud. He passed years ago, but he'd be really proud. So this is a big moment. I appreciate it, man.
My pleasure.
I've always said that I think entertainers and comics are some of the best entrepreneurs because you're managing your brand. Your brand is the company. Now you've extended that to Chong's Choice.
Yep.
Can you tell me about that? What's Chong's Choice about and those brands that you have?
Well, Chong's Choice is a brain fart from my son, I guess, and really good friend of ours. He's a ex-Vietnam fighter pilot from who lost his hearing. He got shot in the chest. JP, and he was head of the Wells Fargo Bank. He's a banker, and so he came up with this system of us using my name to get the product from the growers, the best growers, and then getting them into the stores. We get the best. We were tied up with we started off with another couple of guys, but then as soon as we got the publicity going, the guys started putting crappy weed into the stores, and we got complaints right away, and so we got rid of those guys, and now we're very proud to say that Chong's Choice is probably the best of the best.
And you do a lot of the product testing, I'm sure, right?
Some.
Whenever you can.
No, I do some, but the proof is in people wanting to buy it, and the demand for it.
Yeah.
You know, there was the band, the Bee Gees. One of the Bee Gees loved it so much, he was going back home, and this was when it was still illegal for them, and he got about, I think, $10,000 worth, you know, just so he could have Chong's Choice with him.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously still have a lot of media projects going on. Cannabis Club TV is one of those.
Yeah.
What made you want to get involved with a project like Cannabis Club TV and Danny, who runs that?
Well, the marijuana boat turned into a speed boat, you know, and it's just going down the highway. I mean, pretty soon it'll be worldwide. Mm-hmm. Worldwide.
That's crazy.
and there is so much potential.
Yeah.
And so, and with me being, you know, one of the founders of the whole movement, it was just natural, you know, that we just capitalize on it, you know.
And you are one of the founders.
Yeah.
Take me back. I mean, the 70s and 80s, cannabis was so counterculture and it's so non-mainstream. And then now, in you know, the 2000 teens, it's working its way in to the mainstream. You see it on TV. You see celebrities doing it. What does that mean? How does that make you feel to know that what you've done has really brought it into the mainstream?
Well, it's kind of a mixed feeling. On one hand, you know, I'm very proud to be part of it, but then on the other hand, you can see the tobacco companies and the cigarette companies and the people that were before putting out the poison. Yeah. Now they want to get a hold of the marijuana, and big corporations are trying to separate themselves from the stoner image, kind of thing. And that just makes me laugh because, you know, hey, I don't need all the money. I just need a bit of it, you know.
We'll have a bit more with industry legend Tommy Chong later in the show. Let's take a quick break and come back with our wine of the week.
The next generation of automated dry trimmers has arrived. Completely redesigned, surgical-grade stainless steel, hand-trimmed quality results, gentler. With easier cleanup than ever before, this is the dry trimmer cultivators can depend on. Check out our complete lineup of harvesting equipment at GreenBroz.com.
Welcome back into the show, where it's time for my favorite segment on Root'dTV, and that's Wine of the Week, where we take parts of everyday life that more mature people just gloss over, but not us, okay? We stand and we fight and we make everything a way bigger deal than it needs to be, which I'm sure will eventually get annoying, but until then, here we are, okay? My Wine of the Week this week is all about the media. Not the enemy of the people media you hear 45 call them, but the media that over-sensationalizes every freaking news story that comes out of the newsroom. Now, I know you've seen these headlines that I'm talking about. They say something like, this person slammed someone over healthcare, or watch this politician get destroyed over whatever cause is hot that week. These freaking headlines drive me crazy because they're a million times more dramatic than they need to be, and they never live up to the hype. Never. Let alone the actual definition of the words used. No one's destroyed. What's happening? It's the same experience for me every time I read one of these stories, check on one of these articles, okay? I read the headline of the story or the video and I'm like, oh baby, get the popcorn ready. This is gonna be good. And then a minute in, I'm like, oh boy, here it comes. I can't wait. And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, okay. Must just be right around the corner. I can see it coming. And then the video ends. And I'm like, wait, did I miss it? What happened? No one was destroyed, slammed, blasted, torched, or any other ridiculous word you put in your headline to try to drive traffic to your failing news platform. It's to the point now where all the news sources are doing is trying to compete with other news sources that are creating these crazy headlines, and they're just doing it more and more and more, and it's getting more and more ridiculous. If you can't drive traffic to your story with the headline that actually says what happens, then it's not a story. It's not news. Lying to us about what happens and making it seem like it's over the top is just bad journalism, and that offends us because bad journalism is supposed to be our job. Stop taking our jobs! Stop it. In other news, make sure you stay tuned for our next episode where I absolutely eviscerate, destroy, and completely shame this vicious dog for attacking its owner. Here's a look. Or how about this clip where another ferocious dog savagely beats its owner to death? Right? Weird examples, but examples nonetheless. I think we're all on board with the fact that these ridiculous, sensationalized headlines need to stop, and we politely ask all the news sources out there to stop it. Okay? You're super annoying. So, do you want to share what you dislike about the way that the current news is being reported, or do you have another Wine in the Week topic for yourself? Hit us up at Stay Rooted on Twitter, and we'll try to get it in a future show. We love complaining, so shoot us your idea, and maybe it'll make it on the show. We'll be right back.
The next generation of automated dry trimmers has arrived, completely redesigned, surgical-grade stainless steel, hand-trimmed quality results, gentler. With easier cleanup than ever before, this is the dry trimmer cultivators can depend on. Check out our complete lineup of harvesting equipment at GreenBroz.Inc.
Welcome back into the show. Earlier, we showed you part of our interview with cannabis industry legend Tommy Chong, brought to you by our awesome friends over at GreenBroz, home of the world's leading cannabis harvesting solutions. Check them out, GreenBroz.Inc. Let's jump right back into that interview with Tommy Chong. When you look back after all these years, what would you say has been the hardest part of being Tommy Chong for this whole time? It's a high-stress job. It has to be.
Well, there's nothing hard about being Tommy Chong, because, because I'm not that talented. I swear to God, I'm not. And that's been my talent. Mm-hmm. See, I wasn't a good enough guitar player to become a poor-ass musician. Because I've known the best guitar players in the world, and they sleep on people's, friends' couches. Yeah. They live off a girlfriend. Music does not pay well, unless you write it. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't the best songwriter, or else I'd be writing, and then people forgetting. I was never the best actor, never the best comedian, never the best anything, really. But I was the best Tommy Chong. And we performed in Moncton, New Brunswick, just last week, or a couple of days ago. And I was singing a song. I was a solo act, just me and my wife. She introduced me, and then I'm up there alone with my guitar. And so I sang the one song that it's funny and it works. Then I learned this other song that they sang in Stars Born. Yeah. That, maybe it's time to let the old ways die. And so I started singing that, and it came out really good. And all of a sudden, I couldn't remember the change. Oh no! So I'm in the middle of the song, and next thing you know, I'm hitting these bad chords, and I'm like searching for the change, and it was. I'm a comedian.
People probably thought it was on purpose.
They did. They laughed. They loved it, man. They loved it. And I'm laughing at myself, because that's the Tommy Chong. Yeah. See, that's the Tommy Chong, because I don't know what it is, but there's something guiding me, or some power that's guiding me, because like I got fired and I end up with Cheech. There's all these things that just coming together. And we did a movie. Our first movie we ever did, worldwide. It went huge. It was crazy. It's still a cult movie. And we didn't know what we were doing. Yeah. We just knew how to be funny. And we inspired so many people with our albums and that. And we never wrote anything. We went in, smoked a joint, went in and sat around, looked at each other, started thinking of funny shit to do, and next thing you know, we got worldwide attention. Yeah. And it's crazy. It doesn't matter where I go. I was in Buenos Aires. No, I was in Budapest. And I'm walking down the street, next thing you know, I got a kid running up and he says, it's you, it's really you. He stops me and he says, oh man, I saw you and I wasn't sure, and then I had to run back home, and I looked at it and it was you, and I ran back, and I'm looking at the little guy, and will you take a picture, and I get that everywhere I go. And so being Tommy Chong is such a treat. And I'm at that point where I've never felt entitled. Mm-hmm. In fact, if anything, I think that's one of my strengths, because you get this feel, well, like this house. Mm-hmm. It's my house, but not really. Yeah. Because my wife Shelby decorates it. She found it.
She lets you live here. That's nice.
Yeah, and that's about it. That's about it. But I think my genius is being able to attract good people that help me get to where I'm going.
Tommy, I've heard you a bunch of times in a couple of different interviews use the word integrity as something that you love. Why do you think when people ask you like about words that define you, integrity is one of the first words you think of?
Well, integrity is the only thing that you leave with. If you've got integrity, it doesn't matter what you've done in your life, Nelson Mandela was probably one of my heroes. Because here's a guy, he spent, 18 years in a South African prison, breaking rocks, and he found time to teach a course and teach people English and teach while breaking his quota of rocks. That's a kind of integrity, and that's all you need, When people give you their word, you believe them. That's why with me, I believe people because I want to believe them, And the curse of a liar is that they can't believe anybody. If you always have truth with you, then everything, no matter where you are or what you're doing, you are a rock. You are someone that people respect, Yeah. And to me, that's more important than trying to be liked. Because nothing worse than someone trying to be liked. That's why it doesn't matter how weird or how messed up the truth is. It's the best thing to hang on to.
Big time thanks to Tommy Chong for being absolutely amazing to us, more than gracious with his time, and a complete blast to hang out with. Don't forget to check out his curated line of cannabis products at chongschoice.us. Also, check out the Tommy Chong app wherever you get your apps. I don't know where you get your apps, but go to your app place and get the Tommy Chong app. Tommy goes live all the time and talks directly with his fans, telling stories, answering questions, and airing out whatever he's thinking about that day. Aren't you curious? Don't you want to know? I've jumped on a couple of times, and it's pretty awesome to be able to interact with a guy like Tommy just on your phone from the comfort of your house. It's nuts. Also, don't forget to check out the Rooted podcast for great featured interviews every week, including our full interview with Tommy Chong. There's a ton we didn't show you in this episode, so check out the podcast. It's like 40 minutes, 45 minutes for all the stuff that didn't make it into the show, okay? And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming featured episode with entertainment legend Jim Belushi. How cool is that? Go check it out. You can find the Rooted podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, or StayRooted.com, and the full video versions of these interviews are up on our YouTube page, which is linked on our website, StayRooted.com, as well. Okay, before we say goodbye, we want to share with you our favorite and least favorite things of the week. Let's kick it off in a positive way as famed cannabis enthusiast and former prison inmate Martha Stewart is partnering up with Canadian cannabis company Canopy Growth. How's that for alliteration and a tongue twister, right? To produce a new line of CBD products, with the flagship product for the brand being developed for the pet wellness market, right? Pets are on the come up. Okay, I'm sure cannabis enthusiast and former prison inmate isn't the best way to introduce her, but both are true, so it works, right? Of course, she's known for a million other things, but this is a show marketed to your average cannabis consumer, so we figured that we would lead with that street cred. Martha Stewart smoking with Snoop Dogg, right? Plus, I doubt many of you are on the Martha Stewart Living magazine subscription list, so I don't know how you would have heard about this. And she speaks directly to a huge audience who are most likely not cannabis or CBD savvy, so she could be a great ambassador for the industry to a crowd that we're not currently speaking to as a whole. Plus, we love our pets, and if her new line of CBD products for pets make your pet healthier, maybe live longer, or just have a better life, we're all about it, and we love this story. Welcome in, Martha. Have fun. Now for something that we don't like. As earlier this month, a handful of federal agencies and agents testified before Congress on the status of hemp and CBD and when they expect to have rules and regulations in place at the federal level. With the gist of the testimony from the FDA and USDA representatives kind of sounding like a dad snapping at his kid when the kid asks if dinner's ready and the dad's already making it. And the kid's like, "Dad, when's the new CBD regulatory system gonna be ready? I'm hungry." And the dad's like, "I'm working on it. Can't you see I'm making it? Calm down, it's ready when it's ready." But seriously, the USDA hopes to have their regulations in place by 2020. The FDA rep said it could take as many as 4 years to get their system to regulate CBD in place. 4 years. You guys aren't painting the Mona Lisa here, guys. Let's move it faster. It's just a multi-billion-dollar industry that's eagerly awaiting your rules and regulations, and we're sure you're just gonna mess it up anyways, so let's go. Put something out there. All in all, it's your typical hurry up and wait scenario, and while many of you may have tuned in to the hearings to hear some good news like I did, no, I didn't. I don't watch that. All you got was the proverbial kicking of the can down the road and no real answers. Burn. Ending on a positive note, because spreading positivity is what it's all about. By the way, go out and do something positive for someone today, okay? That's your homework assignment. A group of scientists just announced that they have genetically modified brewer's yeast, whose scientific name I'll throw up on the TV because I can't pronounce it. No idea. But it's what turns grain into beer and dough into bread, so it sounds important. Anyways, without getting too nerdy on the show, these scientists are messing around with gene sequences that eventually allow them to synthesize chemicals into cannabinoids like CBD and THC, along with other cannabinoids they're trying to find. These researchers are attempting to extract the most rare cannabinoids from this process in an effort to more easily study the effects and major medical benefits of those cannabinoids, which could eventually lead to huge scientific breakthroughs on the medicinal side of cannabis research, all without having to grow cannabis. How cool is that? Now, the parts of this that I can understand all sound super cool. I mean, I don't know how people come up with this stuff, but I'm all for it, and that's why it made the favorite list this week. Yay, science! Right? Those are our favorite and least favorite things of the week. Which one do you like or dislike the most, or do you want to share your favorite thing with us? Go ahead, hit us up on Twitter at StayRooted. Let us know your thoughts. Maybe we'll share them in a future episode, okay? That's going to do it for us on the show this week. Big thanks to our friends over at Cannabis Club TV for continuing to air our show, as well as helping to link us up with Tommy Chong and his manager JP. Both awesome people, and we're psyched to have done this interview, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Go check out the podcast for the full interview. Also, big thanks to our friends over at GreenBroz, home of the world's premier harvesting solutions for the cannabis space. Okay, go check them out, GreenBroz.com. They're our interview sponsor for the show and part of the team that's responsible for bringing you the awesome interview with Tommy that we just aired and the awesome interview with Jim Belushi that will air on our next show. So stay tuned. Also, big thanks to High Times TV for continuing to air our content, okay? It's going to do it for us on the show. My name's been Tim Strombel, and I'll remind you one more time to work hard, be humble, and stay rooted. We'll see you next week, everybody.